Come close to the fire, my sister in business. I've brewed some cocoa, and today I have a story about a good girl who maybe wasn't after all. Once there was a woman building something of her own, who carried a scroll tucked deep into her pocket. She knew it was important, but she didn't truly understand why she had it. She had signed it as a girl, though she didn't remember when. More than anything, she didn't remember why. That scroll, I call it the Good Girl's Pact. On the scroll were the promises. Be nice, don't upset them, follow the rules, stay small, be a good girl. In exchange for agreeing to these rules, she'd be safe, loved, acceptable. But the longer she walked her path, building her business, trying to shape a life that felt like hers, the heavier that scroll became, and she began to wonder why she had it at all, and if it would be okay to put it down. Once she even tried to throw it into the river, but the current spit it back at her feet. She tucked it away again, heavier now with water and shame. That scroll is one so many of us carry. That Good Girl's Pact has many forms and many names. It begins as unconscious agreements we make as kids. Do your chores, be polite, don't make waves. Some of those rules help us function in community, like cleaning up after ourselves. But others, they bind us. They demand that we shrink ourselves in exchange for belonging. And it takes enormous bravery to break free from that. Stay with me as I dive deep into our own enormous courage and breaking that Good Girl's Pact. Welcome to Awaken Your Biz Goddess, the space where women entrepreneurs stop forcing business to work and start leading their own way. I'm Audrey Acton, your adventure architect, here to guide you along your unique path of success through brain science, feminine intelligence, and a touch of magic. This is where business becomes your adventure map, and every step leads you closer to the woman you're meant to be. As we grow, more rules get written on that pact. Rules about family, work, and the dreaded how women should behave. Rules that suppress who we are innately. They stifle our personhood and tarnish how we see ourselves and the world. They create anger, frustration, even depression as we try to talk ourselves into following rules we never truly agreed to. I'll give you an example. I never really wanted to get married. I was one of those weird girls who didn't dream about the wedding day, the dress, the romantic honeymoon. I wanted kids and a love affair. But the piece of paper, the name change, I didn't care. But my good girl won the day, and I married because it was the right thing to do. In business, those good girl agreements show up in sneaky ways. You know that feeling. Apologizing for things that weren't your fault. And then apologizing again to smooth things over. By the way, the customer is not always right, and neither is the boss. It also shows up in people-pleasing and over-giving. Be honest, how much free stuff have you given away? And maybe worst of all, it silences us. It keeps us from sharing ideas, speaking up when we disagree, or taking bold action on bold offers. Because good girls are supposed to be calm, agreeable, and not get too excited. And I never understood that. What's the appropriate amount of excitement anyway? Is there some invisible measuring stick out there saying just this much and no more? Look, you've probably carried your own version of that scroll. We all have our own list. Reading and understanding yours is part of the adventure map of entrepreneurship. Part of why these agreements feel so powerful is because they're written right into our brain's wiring. We created strong neural pathways around these good girl tendencies as kids. Those pathways, wrapped in layer after layer of myelin sheaths, become highways of belief. Over time, those reactions and ways of being became our basic sense of who we are. Because that message was strengthened down to our core. But here's the thing. Those highways weren't built by just us. They were shaped by parents, teachers, culture, the dreaded patriarchy, other people's ideas of who we should be. We live in a brain partly designed by others. Some traits are deeply our own, and others are someone else's blueprint. And that's the piece I want you to really hear. It's not that you're weak or broken. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. And that's good news. Because what was wired in can also be rewired. Our brains are wired for safety, and the good girl message is all about safety, love, acceptance, belonging. Deep down, that's evolutionary biology doing its job. Once upon a time, losing your tribe could mean death, literal death. Today, it's not literal death, but it can feel like an emotional death, a slow suffocating of the woman you no longer want to be. And here's the beautiful part. Every death clears the ground for a rebirth of the woman and the entrepreneur you're becoming. Before you rewrite anything, pause here with me by the fire. Close your eyes and feel the scroll in your hand. Notice its weight. Notice how long you've carried it. This isn't about shame, it's about awareness. And awareness is the first act of your rebellion. Now ask yourself, where am I still honoring that pact without even thinking? Which promises did I sign long ago that no longer belong to me? Where am I silencing myself in business because I'm trying to be a good girl? This is where the path begins. Now let's get to rewriting your Good Girl's Pact. Number 1, read your scroll. Dig deep and name the old messages still living inside of you. The ones from parents, school, culture, business gurus, it doesn't matter. Notice which ones make you cringe and which make you nod. No answer is right or wrong. This is about seeing what's there. Number 2, honor what was. Integrity matters. You followed those rules because you believed they were right or because they kept you safe. Honor the version of you who did what she needed to survive. Number 3, draft a new pact built on your truth. Now for the fun part. Decide what you want to write on your scroll. Maybe it's, I will speak even if my voice shakes. Or, I will stop giving away my brilliance for free. This is your chance to define how you want to lead and build. And number 4, break one good girl agreement this week. Just one. Raise your prices. Say no where you used to say yes. Refuse to apologize when you've done nothing wrong. One step is all it takes to start rewiring those pathways. And here's an invitation to go deeper. If you're ready to keep rewriting that pact with other women doing the same, that's exactly what we do inside Ms. Mind. It's where business starts making sense again, and where we rewire our brains together and build businesses around who we really are. The Ms. Mind Circle is a space for women ready to think differently, feel deeply, and rebuild success on their own terms. Doors are open now. Come find your seat at the fire. Link is in the show notes. And how does our story end? As for our heroine by the fire, she unrolled her scroll, read the words she'd once signed, and rewrote them in her own hand. In doing so, she discovered she was never meant to be just one thing. Not only what she'd learned, not only what she was born with, but a living blend of both and more. She became a woman and an entrepreneur, forged from truth and choice. A woman who knew her next step, not because someone else told her, but because it rose from within her with joy and fierce excitement. No measuring stick needed, no permission slip required. Only the path beneath her feet and the fire she now carries forward into the dark. Until next time, sister, you were never meant to keep up. You were meant to lead your own way.